Bianca, thank you so much for joining us. News of the further downgrade from Fitch coming through on Friday. Talk about kicking an economy while they and many other economies around the world are down. What did you make of that news? Not surprised, I take it.
Good morning, Marcel. Definitely not surprised. However, the timing couldn't have been worse. We saw Moody's downgrade us last week, as you mentioned, and then followed by Fitch this week. Unfortunately, they didn't really come out and tell us anything that we didn't know. And we also need to understand their position, that they really don't want to be caught in the same position that they were caught in during the financial crisis in 2008, where it was found that many instruments and countries weren't represented by the correct credit rating.
And now, lay people like myself, who are not experts like you are, I mean, when the news came through from Moody's and then Fitch on Friday, many people saying, but it's not business as usual. How can they be doing this when economies across the world are in crisis because we're trying to save lives? These ratings agencies would have been made up their minds about these things quite a while ago already, wouldn't they?
They would have made their minds up already. If we go look at November 2019, we would have seen Moody's come quite aggressively to market, condemning the state of the South African economy as well as the fiscus. And then Fitch, quite close after the budget speech, they actually issued their report saying that they are not satisfied with the budget speech, that they don't think that the government is doing enough and have a clear path to increasing GDP and reducing debt. And that they don't think that the wage negotiations are actually going to come to fruition.
Now, the rand didn't react well as expected. Is it too strong a word to say that it is in free fall?
I think we need to be very careful with calling something in free fall. It is definitely on a tremendous weakening trajectory. And yes, it is outperforming other emerging market currencies, not outperforming, underperforming other emerging market currencies at the moment. We've seen the rand weaken as much as 30% over the past year, but that is not too far out of line with the rest of emerging markets. What we need to remember is that we are not only facing the downgrades, but we are also facing a global crisis that I would be careful to brand a financial crisis. It's more in line with what you can typically brand as a natural disaster, and the trends we're seeing are more in line with that. But given the current outbreak of the virus, the global economy as a whole is under pressure, with most of the economists expecting the US to go into recession, globally expected to go into recession, and then South Africa to continue on that trajectory downward.
Now, reaction from government and what they plan to do about this downgrade, of course, while they're still dealing with the coronavirus outbreak, will be key. I heard a conversation the other day talking about who we could compare South Africa to as a result of this downgrade. Some said that you can look at Argentina, who were downgraded 20 years ago, and they didn't respond well. And then there's South Korea, who were able to pull themselves out of the doldrums and go back into investment grade around a year after being downgraded. One doesn't want to compare apples with pears, but where do you see South Africa hedging itself in its story post-downgrade?
I think South Africa is going to focus on combating the virus first and foremost. The lockdown is not going to do us any favors, and we are expecting the economy to contract by about 3.8% for 2020. What is very important is that government comes to market with a clear plan following this, and this is something that's been lacking from government. It's really a clear path, a clear plan of how we are going to bolster economic growth, how we are going to combat unemployment, and most importantly, how we are going to reduce our government debt. Now, given that scenario and the coronavirus outbreak, we need to also remember that government will be throwing money at the virus, and they are expected to. In all likelihood, we will be looking towards the IMF as well as the World Bank to assist us in funding the combat of the virus. And then it comes down to policy reform. What is South Africa willing to do following the virus in terms of land reforms, in terms of structural reforms, to make sure that the economy can turn around in line with the rest of the world once the virus outbreak has been contained.
That's Bianca Botes from the Peregrine Treasury Solutions. Thank you so much for your time this morning. She's joining us via Skype.